Hey Dad, how do I know if I should splurge on a product or not?
Like splurge, so that means you want to spend more, like a lot more than you would normally spend.
Maybe.
So that means, well, first you have to have your finances in order, right? So you got to make sure that you've got, this is a whole separate discussion, but like your separate accounts. And so you're going to pay yourself first, and then you're going to only spend what you've got left over. So that means you've got like a whole separate account that you know is just for spending. So we'll put that aside. So the first thing you're asking yourself then is, from that separate account you know you've put aside that's for spending, do you have enough? So you're asking yourself some questions. Do I have enough in that account? 2, will I still want it in a week or 2 weeks? So is this an impulse? Is this something that's just, I've seen, I really want it? Better yet, don't just ask yourself, do I want it in a week? You can leave it a week or 2 weeks. And if you still really want it after that, then that answers that question. And the third thing is, do I want this money to go towards something else better? So maybe that savings, you're saving up for something bigger or something different. Would you prefer these funds to go to something else that you've got in mind? So if you've answered like yes to those questions, you've got enough. This is not just an impulse. You really want. You've been wanting it for a long time. Nothing better you can spend it on. Then I'd say
Yeah.
you can splurge. But just one thing to keep in mind is, like, with those questions, you don't want to steal from your future self in order to like impress yourself or entertain yourself today. But money is for enjoying. So if you've got it and you know it's okay to spend, do it with no guilt. Spend it, enjoy it, and know that you've earned it and you've done the right thing.
Okay, so it's not like really about whether I should or not. It's like, what outcome do I want to have? Like, if I buy this, do I want this outcome or do I want this outcome? And like, what trade-off I'm willing to make?
Yeah. Well, it's about having the decision. I don't want to make it a boring mathematical thing, but if you've thought about it early and you've plotted out what you can and can't do in a time where you're thinking more clearly than impulsing and trying to impress people or in the moment. If you've already thought that through, you know what you can and can't do. So you already know what the consequences will be. But so if you want to, make a big splurge buy, you know that, yeah, I can do this, and I won't feel any guilt about it, and it's going to, be a good buy, and you'll feel good about it. Because if the reverse is, if you don't do that, then you'll get the reverse. You'll be like, after a week, you'll be like, oh, this is just sitting here. I didn't really want it now. It was an impulse buy. I regret buying it. You don't want to have those regrets. Or you'd be like, I spent too much on this. I wish I could have put this towards X deposit for a bigger thing I was trying to afford. Or I just didn't have the money for it in the first place. So, I'm putting it on credit card, or I'm putting it on debt, and I should have had that money saved aside first before spending it. So like, those are the 3 opposite consequences. You don't want those things happening, because it's harder to dig yourself out of a hole than it is to make the right decision with a clear mind on flat ground.
Okay, thanks. Hey Dad, I was wondering, how do I know how much to save or spend?
So generally, there's a rule that I like, and the rule is called the 70-30 rule. So 70% you would put all your living expenses, so your bills, rent, home costs, spending. You're asking the other day about splurging, spending money, that would go into that 70%. And then the other 30%, split it into 10% lots. So 10% to charity, like donations or giving back, 10% to active capital, and that's money that's going to be working for you hard. So you putting that money to work to try and make more money. And then the last 10% is passive capital, or like that's like a high yield savings account. So it's not so active, you're sort of parking it somewhere, but you still want it to be making sort of good interest. So that's a simple rule. It's going to change around for each person, but you can start there for sure.
Okay, 70-30. Wait, Dad, how do I know if I should have like a joint account with my partner? Like if I grow up and
Your partner?
I'm not saying I have one.
Which bloody partner do you have?
I don't have a boyfriend. I'm just saying, like, in the future, like, if I've got my account and I've got my own money and they've got theirs, but, like, we want to combine together maybe to get a house, or, like, it's, like, actually advantageous to do that, then, like, how do I know if I can trust them? Like, what should I look out for?
Okay, well, there's a few ways, and it goes, I guess, to your belief system and your mentality of what, you know, being in a partnership is. Lots of people have different ways of doing it, but an old school good rule of thumb for me is like marriage. So you might not want to get married or believe in the institute of marriage, but it's like if you are committed enough to be married to someone and to make those vows and a lifelong commitment, then you should be committed enough to join your funds together and to be able to split it 50-50 and to be in it together, because it's, literally death do you part. So there is no thinking of divorce in the future or separating. You're not thinking of that. You don't have any plans to do that. So I think that's a good line to draw and say that's when you can join funds, and because you'll be working on everything together from then on.